Hello and welcome to the One Idjit's Thoughts on podcast. I'm Paul Mackey on the 24th day of the Dog Days of Podcasting Challenge. It's the weekend, so I got in here relatively early to work on the show. Later, we're heading over to the mall of all places. There is one enclosed shopping mall in Duluth, Miller Hill Mall, and I'd say it's relatively thriving compared with its peers around the country. Sure, 2 of the 3 anchor tenants failed over the last 10 years, but one of the local healthcare conglomerates has taken over those spots, with a physical therapy center and a surgery center. And yes, 2.5 years ago, a large section of the roof collapsed, but it's all better now. And later, I'm hoping to talk someone into going to the punk rock flea market being held at the local surf shop. Or at least I'll go alone. Meanwhile, I'm going to launch into Gravity Falls Season 2, Episode 14, The Stanchurian Candidate, originally aired August 24th, 2015. A brief summary. Stan isn't having a great morning. He feels old and the well-meaning kids have placed unintentional obstacles in his way. He has to go to the store to buy light bulbs, and when he returns, Ford has invented a 1,000-year skin-softening bulb, making his errand pointless. He sits down for some good news, and instead hears the mayor has died. There's a town meeting where they detail the rather low bar for entry into the mayoral race. Bud Gleeful declares himself a candidate, believing no one else will challenge him, and when questioned about his contact with his imprisoned son, which, honestly should just be a given, he responds by offering everyone there half off a used car. Dipper says it's too bad Ford isn't there because he'd be a great mayor. At that, Stan puts himself in as a challenger and inspires many townspeople to follow suit. The twins are skeptical of Stan's chances. He frequently says the wrong thing and fails to stay on script. Dipper tells Ford the problem. Ford says he invented a mind control tie for Ronald Reagan's masters and gives it to Dipper. You wear one control tie and you can take over the other tie wearer. They test it on Seuss, who is controlled easily but very distressed by the experience. Then the stump speech, the last speech before the debate and vote. Stan starts talking about the appearance of the women in Gravity Falls, so Mabel takes over and compliments them. The twins take turns, and by the end the crowd is applauding. We cut to Bud Gleeful, and it turns out he has a video link with Gideon, who is motivating his campaign. Stan's surge in popularity is almost like magic, says Bud, and Gideon decides magic is what he needs. Despite Bud's request for no more spooky spells, Gideon casts one, with reverse audio spell language on full display.
Spooky evil spells! Spooky evil spells! Spooky spells! Spooky spells!
Gideon takes over Bud's body. Stan is confident, wearing his own choice of clothing, but Dipper insists he needs to wear the suit and tie. Stan says he's been getting by fine. He doesn't need stupid advice to wear a tie. Dipper explodes, revealing Stan had been mind-controlled the whole time by Ford's invention, and Stan storms out. Mabel says they need a new malleable candidate, and of course Seuss is the answer. At the debate, Gideon puts on an endearing show as Bud and garners a bunch of the birdseed needed to earn the eagle's kiss, which is how elections are decided in Gravity Falls. Dipper and Mabel, even with their control of Seuss, aren't getting the results they want. Then Gideon confronts them as Bud, carries them up into the late mayor's sculpture where the fireworks are prepared to finish the sculpture, which will coincidentally seal the twins in the mountain. On stage, Stan hears Mabel's cries for help and goes to help the kids instead of debating. The kids are dangling from the nose of the statue, and just as the rope snaps, Stan saves them. Bud wields the fireworks detonator and pushes it as the Pines family leaps away, safely landing in the birdseed pile that represents the votes cast by the town after witnessing Stan's heroism. The eagle descends, giving Stan the official smooch. And we cut to the news of his disqualification. It seems having a large number of crimes on your record disqualifies you from elective office. In Gravity Falls, the new mayor is officially Tyler Cutebaker. In the prison, Gideon pulls a poster off the wall, applying finishing touches on a seal he's drawing behind it, a representation of Bill Cipher. And Gideon says he's ready to make a deal. Very cartoonish. Well, considering how cartoonish everything has become on the show, imagine that, I had dialed back on this segment for a while, but I have to give it up for the eagle's kiss. And my favorite line...
Look, Uncle Stan, people are like smell markers, and you're black licorice. It's not that you're unsniffable, you just need to learn when to keep the cap on.
Who is? Will Forte plays Tyler Cutebaker, born Orville Willis Forte IV in Alameda, California in 1970, Will Forte was a fan of comedy from a young age, a fan of stand-ups and Saturday Night Live. He had aspirations to play football and was on a varsity football team and swim team in high school. He completed a history degree at UCLA, then entered a job as a financial broker following in his father's footsteps, but was miserable. He took classes with the Groundlings and wrote an independent comic, the popularity of which landed him professional writing jobs. He was a writer for the short-lived Jenny McCarthy Show, then did a stint at Letterman before returning to performing with the Groundlings. He wrote for Third Rock from the Sun and That 70s Show while with the Groundlings, and was spotted by Lorne Michaels earning an SNL audition. He was offered a spot in the cast but declined and continued on staff at That 70s Show until the following year when he did join the SNL cast. He was with SNL for 8 seasons and was the title performer of the MacGruber sketches and subsequent film. And of course, he's been in many other films and television shows ever since. What worked? Another fun one. You get to see a pretty good parody of politicians who regularly lie or make gaffes in comments. Timeless stuff. And a softball version of the idea someone behind the candidate is actually controlling everything. I also appreciated that even with the experimental control of Seuss, there were negative consequences for the controlled, despite the frivolous nature of the test. Things to ponder. Well, not much pondering required, but I suppose I can speculate that Gideon is not the very big bad. He might facilitate Bill Cipher, but there's no way he's going to be much more than an episode of trouble along the way at this point. Next time is Gravity Falls Season 2, Episode 15, The Last Mabelcorn. Mabel seems like she would like unicorns. Happy hunting! You've been listening to the One Idjit's Thoughts On podcast, produced by Paul Mackey in association with Nimlas Studios. Any short clips of audio from shows is included under fair use for commentary purposes, and copyright for that content remains with its original copyright holders. The theme song is Too Good by Jack Mangan and is used by his generous permission. One Idjit's Thoughts is produced under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. You can find more episodes of this podcast and many other fine podcasts at nimlas.org. You can contact me by emailing idjitcastpodcast@gmail.com or commenting on episodes at nimlas.org. Don't you just hate it when you have to wear milk slippers in the morning?